Hi there, everybody. It is a rain-soaked day here in Pittsburgh, and apparently we're going to have a whole week of this, so I'm super thrilled, although it is going to be sunny when my kitchen cabinets arrive on Monday, so at least we won't be taking delivery of our wood products in the rain. At least that's what the weather people say. I just want to throw this out there, but I remember there being some talk about cars being able to summon all the way on private property, all the way up to the door so you could get in and not have to go out in the rain. Anybody seen that yet? I feel like that's been like a year and a half since that was announced. I don't know. My car won't summon anyway. So if my car shows up at the door of my workplace, it's because it was either stolen or because I left it in neutral. So anyway, just throwing that out there for all you folks with autopilot. Little announcement before we get into today's topic is that our Facebook group for Tesla Pittsburgh, which is really just intended for people kind of regionally. You don't necessarily have to live in Pittsburgh, but we take people all the way out to eastern part of PA and some in Ohio and folks that kind of come through our area on a regular basis. And you don't have to be a Tesla owner. You could be just a reservation holder or just somebody who likes the company. You don't even have to be that. Well, that group, sometime in the last week, went over 300 members. And actually this morning I added another person to it, so we are somewhere now in excess of 300 people in the group. Now, how many actual Teslas that represents, I'm not entirely sure, but if I had to guess, we're probably somewhere around 150 to 200 actual cars, because obviously the membership, we have a number of folks where the husband and the wife are both members, but not all, so we're not talking 150 couples, we're talking 300 people. But just throwing that out there, that if you're in the area and you've stumbled across the YouTube videos or Twitter, and you own a Tesla or are interested in Tesla or electric cars in general, and live kind of in this sort of region, I should include some people in West Virginia also, I should mention. If you're kind of in this Pittsburgh region, by all means, hit us up on Facebook. It's easy to find. There's links on the YouTube channel. There's links on my blog, which is teslapittsburgh.com, and there's links on Twitter that go to the Facebook group. You'll be requesting membership. Then you must look for a message request from one of the admins, which will probably be me. And I just want to make sure you are a real person, not a bot. So make sure that you find that message and you respond to it appropriately, and then you're in. It's real easy. Totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. No membership dues, nothing like that. We're not an official club. Don't have any intention of becoming one, but there you go. So the topic for today, oddly enough, is nothing to do with either of those things. We're going to talk about maintenance plans, service plans, and the extended warranty. A lot of people are getting their Model 3s right now, don't really know what to expect, and you're kind of in the same boat that I was when I got my Model S, in that there weren't that many of them built, so it wasn't really a known quantity, that we didn't really know what the trouble points were of the car. So you will have to base your decision regarding Model 3 on the information you have of the Model 3s that came before you, whatever that information happens to be, and judge accordingly. If you're getting a Model S, this is going to be a lot more applicable because we kind of know what those are. If you're getting a Model X, just buy the warranty. Just buy it. That's real simple. I don't know what is going to go wrong with those doors, but you know it'll be something, and you know it'll be expensive. So you just buy it. So this is really going to be most useful for Model S people, but there's probably some overlap for Model 3. Service plans for the Model 3 have not been announced yet that I know of, and as far as I'm aware, there is no extended warranty option for the Model 3 that has been announced, or no pricing for those things. But for the S and the X, we do kind of know what we're talking about. We know for the X it costs a lot more for the extended warranty, and I think the service plans are actually a little bit more expensive too. But that doesn't matter. I'm really going to focus on the S because this is the car I know. And my recommendation to you, if you are buying a new Model S at this point in time, is to don't buy any extra plans. Don't buy it. Skip it. Save the money. You don't need it. Here's why. The car is covered. The battery, I should say, is covered. The drive unit, all that stuff, is covered for 8 years, and that's really the expensive stuff. And you're not going to be doing that in your garage ever. So that's covered. That's the main thing. Excuse me. The rest of the car isn't. And why that becomes important is, so basically here's how it breaks down. If you get the service plan, and I don't remember exactly what the pricing was, but it generally used to be in the old days when I got mine, that if you paid the cost of 3 services, you kind of got the 4th one free. So when I bought my car, we didn't know how reliable they would be. We didn't know how unreliable they would be, or what the trouble points might be. So, because this car is VIN 40,000 something, and there have been massive changes done all along the line prior to that, and I know that they're still continuing to change stuff, but it really hadn't stabilized yet. I think right now it's been fairly stable since Autopilot 2 stuff hardware came out, and even during the years that it was Autopilot 1, it was fairly stable. So once you got to Autopilot 1, it kind of stabilized a bit, and you're really talking minor stuff. But up until that point, there were massive changes going on kind of continually. So all these cars are sort of like, I don't know how many model years you pack into the first 3 years of Model S production from another manufacturer, but there's so many things that are uncommon between cars that I got the service plan for a very specific reason, and that was to keep me honest, to make sure, hey, there's a Model S, and that was to make sure that I actually had the car serviced, because it was expensive, and also because at that time, the way the extended warranty was written, you had to have had the car serviced up until the point of the warranty in order to be eligible. So that if you had not followed the factory recommendations, and then in year, right as your warranty expired, whether by mileage or by year, decided that you wanted the extended warranty, they would go back and they would, I guess, presumably audit whether or not you had been in for the scheduled services. And if you had not, they'd say, yeah, it sucks to be you. You're not eligible for the extended warranty. So so I did that mainly for that reason. And what I found, as did most people, and I don't even drive a lot compared to many people I know. My commute's not that far. We do use this car for the bulk of our driving, but we don't drive that far. If we're going to go really long distance, we tend to fly. Also partly because you can't fly to Europe, you can't drive to Europe, I should say, which was the last major trip we made. But we did drive it to Boston, I should say. But all that to be the service interval at that time, and I believe it is still the same even for the new cars, is that they want to see the car every year or every 12,500 miles, whichever comes first. Now, on the one hand, you go, hey, that's a lot less than oil changes. You have to do oil changes a lot more frequently than that. Yeah, this is true. But 12,500 miles, in addition to being a weird number, is not really very long. First couple years, we were hitting that interval in kind of around 9 months or so. Like every 9 months we hit one. So we were shortening our service intervals from a year to 9 months. And that meant that at the end of my service plan period was going to coincide with the end of the warranty minus a couple months. So that's why I had a whole big thing I did about that on an earlier vlog. But anyway, that was to keep me honest, and that made sense given that we didn't know anything about the cars, and I wanted to make sure that I was eligible to consider even buying the extended warranty. Decided not to buy the extended warranty, and that was even when the terms are a little bit more favorable than they are now. Although there was a kind of a period there where the extended warranty, I think it was $4,000, and it was a $200 deductible for every item that you took in to be serviced. Now, they've since changed that, and they said that, well, if you let things build up and you come into the service center with a list of stuff that's wrong on your extended warranty, and we'll charge you just $200 for the whole visit. But when you look at the things that are covered by the extended warranty and the likelihood of them failing and stuff like that, it seems very difficult to come out ahead on the extended warranty, which is, of course, by design. Extended warranties, regardless of what manufacturer they're offered from, are basically like insurance algorithms, in that what they try to do is they try to take the net sum of everybody who pays in to be more than the amount that they have to pay out. And Tesla's no different. So if you go in and you don't have a lot of service issues, you just basically subsidized everybody else's repairs. That's kind of how it works out. If you go in and you have lots and lots of issues, then you're kind of beating the system, and hey, kudos to you for having an unreliable car. But when I looked at the things that other owners in my area that I knew personally were going through, including some rather large repairs, they seemed to be things that were cheaper basically to just pay out of pocket. Even the DC-DC converter, which is fairly expensive. Another guy had a screen, which is fairly expensive, but they were able just to do the front of it, not the whole. They didn't have to replace the whole unit. They just replaced the screen. And that was it for those cars. And when you add up the warranty cost, which you have to include, so going back to the service plan, you didn't have to have the service plan to get the extended warranty. They did change that, and they said that you don't have to do anything up until the day that the warranty expires, and then go in, and regardless of whether or not you've had the recommended services, you're eligible for the extended warranty. Well, that was a good move on their part, I thought. But what they didn't change was the requirement that going forward, under the extended warranty, you must go in for the service intervals, or else the extended warranty won't be in force anymore. So that meant that at least for years 4 through 8, you do have to go in for the extended service. And you can't buy a service plan for those years anymore. You used to be able to buy 8 years of service, but you can't buy that anymore. Not at the time you buy the warranty anyway. So when you add up the prices for the services that are required every 12,500 miles during your warranty period, you'll find that it's going to total somewhere around another, $3,000 to $4,000. And that's all technically out of warranty. So if you're now taking it in every 12,500 miles, they're going to go over the car, and if they find something wrong, not only do you pay for the service, but they also hit you up for the $200 deductible, and then the extended warranty kicks in for the rest. Whereas if it was something minor that you didn't notice was a problem, or you didn't care was a problem, maybe it wouldn't turn up because you wouldn't have taken the car in. I guess I've owned too many old cars, so I know that sometimes happens. So the extended warranty cost is really $4,000 or whatever. It's changed now. I think it went up a little bit, but it's about $4,000. But it's really double that because of the required intervals that you have to go in for. And you still have the $200 deductible for every visit to the service center. So you really got to be pretty convinced that this is a pile of junk if you're going to commit to that level of outlay. And I just am not convinced that it is that poorly built or that's that hard to service. That's really the bottom line. And the things that are hard to service, covered by the factory drivetrain warranty anyway. So there's that. So my recommendation is that, just skip all of it. Just buy the car. Enjoy the car. If you feel that you must have service done and you feel that you want to have the car looked at, that's fine. But ignore that mileage requirement. I don't see any compelling evidence that mileage on this car really means anything. What's more tenuous, I think, is the seasonal changes and kind of just the general idea that, you should have it looked at now and then. So what I recommend, and this is totally me, this has nothing to do with Tesla, is take it in every year if you feel you must take it in. If you don't feel that there's anything going on with the car, do it every other year. It's kind of like your home furnace. You can have it serviced every year, but I feel like that's a little excessive. Just like with my old gas cars, I don't take them in every 3,000 miles for oil changes. I run them about 5,000 miles. And I figure over the life of the car, that's going to be a better value. It's still going to catch things before they fail, but it's not nickel and diming me along the way. So I would recommend somewhere between a year to 2 years, take it in on a regular basis for that. Pay for those services out of pocket. Don't do the service plan. When you get to the end of the factory warranty period, that's probably a good time to try and time it so you go in for your last service. Go in then. Get that last service done while it's still under warranty. That's what I did. Anything they find, they cover, so that they'll fix under warranty. And then you go out of the warranty period with the car at 100%, ideally. Everything works, everything's fine, everything's happy. Don't buy the extended warranty. Bank that money. Plan for the worst. Have it set aside and know that you might have to use it. But there's a decent chance you won't have to use it because, let's be honest, at the speed that we tend to put miles on these cars, we being the collective ownership body, you're going to be at 100,000 miles pretty fast. And that money is just, I just don't feel that it's well priced. For cars that are supposed to be cheaper to maintain than gas cars and more reliable and less maintenance intensive, Tesla sure charges an awful lot of money for those things. So that is my recommendation. Skip all of it, buy the car, do some smart math on your own, whatever your finances are. Do take it in, do have it looked at, definitely have it looked at prior to the end of the factory warranty, and then just let it ride and bank the money and do this. And hopefully you'll be on the side of the equation that you are not funding other people's repairs, and that you won't have to fund your own repairs. And if you do have to fund your own repairs, the likelihood of them being under the total cost of what the warranty plus the services required to keep the warranty in effect are, the likelihood that you'll be under that cost is very, very high, because I think that ends up being somewhere around $7,000 plus a $200 deductible. And I just can't imagine that if you've made it to the end of the factory warranty without major issues, I think you're probably good to double that. And at that point, you're not eligible for any warranty. So that's just my 2 cents. Based on experience, based on talking to a lot of people who had some very early cars and even had a number of expensive repairs outside of a warranty, but still came out ahead. So I think that that's pretty reasonable advice. Anyway, if you don't think it's reasonable, let me know. I'll take a look at the comments and I'll try and convince you that you're wrong. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you in the next time that we, I don't know, I have to go somewhere. Bye.